Hello, welcome to this contact and invite training. Today, we're really going to be covering, I think, the most fundamental part of this business. This business is really about learning how to do a few simple things really well. And one of those things is how to actually invite somebody into the process of learning about Nikan. And why I say that it's a process is because it takes some time to go through the information in order for someone to get fully informed and know if this is a good fit for them. It's not the type of thing where it's just like, hey, join my business. How many people have gotten a random message on Instagram from somebody saying like, hey, I have this really great business opportunity for you, and you're like, well, you don't even know me. I don't even know you. Why would we ever even work together? That's not the way we do things. We like to take a slower, more authentic and real approach with the way that we invite somebody to learn about Nikan. And at the end of the day, that's all we're ever doing. We're inviting them to learn. And if what they see resonates with them, if they want to get involved, then they will. And if they don't, then they won't. But they could probably help us in other ways indirectly. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen and showing you guys what my dad likes to call the partnering process. This is the process where somebody goes from knowing nothing about Nikan to being 100% informed and ready to become a partner. So I know there's a lot going on in this diagram, but bear with me. We're going to go through this together. So it's broken down into 3 conversations: why, how, and what. And if you guys have ever read the book, Start With Why by Simon Sinek, he talks about this process of going from why to what. Because he says, a lot of companies, they'll talk about what they do or what they sell. That's not what creates loyalty. That's not what gets people excited about what you have to offer. What makes people different is talking about why. They start with why. Why are people so loyal and committed to their Apple products versus their HPs or their Dell products? Because HP and Dell, they're computer companies. Apple is an innovation company. Apple is all about pushing the limits. Apple is all about doing things in a new and different way. That's their why. It's their reason for being. It's not about what they do, it's about why they do it. And that's why they create loyalty. So starting with why is so important in every type of business that you're going to look at. And this business is no different. Before we know if somebody is going to be, if we want to work with somebody, if we want them to be a business partner, we have to know why we would ever partner with this person in the first place. And that's what the contact and invite is. The contact and invite is the why conversation. Now, after somebody has the why conversation, then they want to know the how. Then they want to know, okay, what's products? What's the business? What's the plan that you guys have? How does this all work? That's how it works, right? And we have our sovereignlife.me link that we send to people that kind of gives them this brief context. So to make our lives easier, we don't have really a how conversation. It's covered somewhat in the ABC call, but it's mostly just the website that gives you that brief context, right? And after somebody has, they've had the why, they know why they're looking at this, right? They have a motive. They know why they're looking at doing it with us. Then they're going to be like, okay, this is how I do it. This is the products. This is the business model. Now they should know whether they're going to be a customer or a consultant, right? And you could see the arrows kind of lead you across the direction. Are they going to be a customer? Are they going to be a consultant? They'll have a pretty good idea at that point. And then there's the what conversation. And the what is really about, what is it going to take for me to get started in this? And this conversation is meant in coordinates with a big event, which we haven't really had yet, but we're going to be having at the end of this month. That's what's going to take somebody from being a consultant, if they decide to join with us, to being a partner. And what is a partner? A partner is somebody who is ready to invest time, money, and contacts. Okay, you invest a little bit of time, a little bit of money, a little bit of contacts to get your time, your money, and a network of people. So this is what I just wanted to show you this. You understand that this first conversation, it's the initiation into this process. And this process is what we sell. At the end of the day, we're when it comes to the business, yes, we sell products, but when it comes to the business, we sell the process. We're not trying to convince anyone to join. What we're trying to do is invite them to learn. So the reason why you see these numbers here, 81, 27, 9, 3, is because we followed the rule of thirds. And this is something that they've observed, time and time again throughout years of this business, and I'm sure many other ones. And that's for every 3 people you talk to, one of them is going to say yes, right? So every 3 people that goes to the first conversation, one of them will say yes to the next one. For every 3 people that goes through that second conversation, one of them will say yes to the next one. And for every 3 people who sign up as a consultant, one will become a partner, someone who's ready to set a goal and go and achieve it, right? Someone who's ready to make an investment of time, money, contacts. So the 81, my dad always says, contact 81 people to find 3 solid partners. And really, when you look at our business plan that, everyone's going to see in the what conversation, what you want to do is build a core circle of influence. You want to have 3 business partners and 5 loyal customers. And then you want to teach your 3 business partners how to build their core circle of influence, how to find 3 more business partners and 5 more customers. And that's how your business grows. That's how it duplicates. So 81 contacts to find those 3 partners, those 3 key people. Now, I can tell you guys, I've had a little bit more success than this rule of thirds. And I think it's just because I've gotten really good at doing the contact and invite. I've gotten really good at talking to people and really good at finding out their why. So I'm going to teach you guys the way that I kind of learned how to do it. This is the way my dad taught us, me, Savannah, and Elena, when we first sat down at the round table and we had our first meeting. This is what we learned. We learned the partnering process, and then we learned the first conversation, the why conversation, and that's what's called the contact and invite. Let me know if you guys can see this. It's a document called Contact and Invite. Are we good? Just give me like a thumbs up. No, you can't see it. Okay, I think I need to stop my share and then reshare. All right, so this is a script called the Contact and Invite script. We put this together on our Google Drive. So you guys are all on there. You can review it on there. But the reason we put this together is because as many times as we go over this training, it's hard to make that first contact. It's hard to call up someone and invite them to learn about this business. It's uncomfortable, right? It's something we've never done before. And a lot of you aren't in the same boat that I'm in, or that Sven and Ellen are in, where you were raised by this company. It's what's provided your entire lifestyle for you. So for us, we had a bit more confidence going into those conversations because we've lived it, we've seen it our entire lives. We know what's possible. But I understand that it's not that easy for, someone else, that you kind of have to get through some mental barriers, that you're trusting the experiences of others instead of the one you've had yourself. And that's fair. So we decided to put this script together because we find that, if you don't give somebody really like a step-by-step to follow, they'll do nothing. However, know that this is a flexible script. This is meant to work for you. It's meant to be adapted in a way that feels comfortable. But we're going to start by going through this because this is really what my dad taught us, the fundamentals. And then I'm going to talk about the ways that I've kind of adapted it since then. So what is the goal in our contact and invite training? The goal is to invite a prospect. This is after you've done your list, right? Your 100 names list. So you have this list of 100 names now, you've ranked them, you've identified, okay, who are really the people that I would want to work with as a business partner? Who are those people who are more resourceful, more influential, more entrepreneurial than I am, right? These are people maybe maybe you don't know so well, but this approach is specifically for people who like them well, what they care about, what drives them, what their goals are. Maybe this is a friend, maybe this is someone you work with, but really the goal is to invite this person into a process of information so they can get fully informed about where they fit in the Nikan family, whether as a customer, a consultant, or a partner. Remember, in the partnering process we just looked at, there's options. There's different ways somebody can choose to get involved with us. But in order to do that, they need to know, what are we all about? What are they getting involved with? This is the invitation. So what's the structure? The structure, my motive, their motive, the offer, schedule the ABC, and the follow-up text. So that's what we're going to go through right now. The script. So you might text somebody, you might be like, hey, whatever, a good friend of yours, hey, I have something really important I want to share with you. Let me know when you have 5 minutes to hop on a phone call. Okay. You call them up. You say, hey, I don't know, Savannah. Hey, Savannah. The reason why I'm calling you today is because I'd like to ask for your help. See, when you are inviting somebody to look at it from a business standpoint, you're asking for their help. As opposed to, when you're talking to someone about a product, you're calling because you think you can help them, right? So I'm asking for your help. Of all the people I know, and now this is the first step. What's your motive for calling them? Why do you want to work with this person? And they have to be emotional reasons. It has to be like, how does this person make you feel? So some examples could be, I trust you, you're very compassionate, you're caring, respecting, inspiring. Every time I'm around you, I feel motivated. I love your energy. You make me laugh. Emotional reasons. And these are your personal reasons for contacting, the person you're speaking to. So make them your own, So here's an example. Of all the people I know. So imagine you're calling up your friend and you're saying this to them. Hey, Savannah, I'm calling you today because I'd like to ask for your help. Of all the people I know, you're probably one of the most caring and compassionate souls. You want to help people around you. It's intuitive and it's genuine, and it's one of the greatest things that I admire about you. These are qualities I look for not only in a relationship, but in a business partner. And just so you guys know, this script we're looking at now, Elena helped me put this together. These examples are from something she actually said to someone who's on this call right now, Alicia, right? So this is exactly the approach that she used, and now Alicia is on our call, right? And it was authentic. These are her reasons why she wanted to work with Alicia. Now you want to talk about what's their motives, right? So there's my motive, which are 2 emotional reasons why you really want to work with this person. There might be more than 2, Next is their motive. So in this case, you want to think about the 5 pillars: mind, body, family, society, and finances, and pick which 2 you think would most resonate with this person. State this in a way that's specific to them. So you think about your person, you're like, okay, I know my friend is like super into wellness, like she's always working out, she loves to stay fit, she always like cares about what she puts in her body. So body is definitely one of her pillars. And she also like really wants to improve her finances. I know she's super ambitious. She is always talking about personal freedom. She wants to have like a huge mansion one day, so then you can kind of start to identify, knowing your friend or whoever it is you're talking to, your coworker or whatever. Maybe it's a family member, which of these 2 pillars you think would most resonate with them. So here's an example of what Elena said to Alicia. I know just how important it is for you to help people. That's a society pillar. When somebody cares about the contribution they're making, that's a society pillar. I mean, it's clearly demonstrated in the field of work you're in and your commitment to it. You're here to serve, and this is something you and I have in common. And the last time we spoke, you told me that your success is inevitable. I know that you understand that not only is the work you do important, but that financial independence and freedom is so critical for you to be able to live life on your terms and abundantly. So that's the finance pillar, right? So you see how she has said, these are the reasons I want to work with you, and these are the reasons I think you would really want to look at this opportunity. Next is the offer. This is kind of when you bridge it together. I think I found a way for us to tie in their mentioned above blank and have a lot of fun while we're at it. So this is one way to phrase this. You say, I think I found a way, for example, if it was, the body pillar and the finances pillar, I think I found a way for us to better our health and the health of others, make a ton of money, and have a lot of fun while we're at it. What do you think your friend is going to say when you say that to them? You think they're going to say no?
I was hooked.
Right? There you go. There you go. Like, they're not going to say no. they're going to be like, okay, what's this all about? Tell me more. Like, you're speaking right to them. You're speaking from your heart and they can sense that. So in this case, Elena goes, I think I found a way for us to make a huge impact, right? The society pillar, make a ton of money and have a lot of fun while we're at it. And here's the invitation. I would like you to consider partnering with me in building a global wellness community. To see if this is a fit for you, I'd like to bring you through a process of information so that you are 100% informed and can make a proper decision. See, all you want to do is bring them through a process of information. And that really takes the pressure off, takes the pressure off you, takes the pressure off them. All we want to do is invite them to learn more. Now, key words here, guys. Do not forget this part. I realize it may not be for you. That's important to say because, again, it's all about like taking that pressure off, taking it off yourself, taking it off the person that you're talking to. It may not be for them. Even if you think it's perfect for them, it may not be for them, and that's okay. There's no expectations in this invite, and I think it's important that we start there. The reason why I like to have people do their 100 names is because it does something for you psychologically. It helps you realize that you don't have to put all your eggs in the, like maybe you're like, oh my God, this one friend, she'd be perfect for it, whatever. Okay, so maybe you invite her into this process. Maybe she goes through the whole process and she says no. You can go back to your list and realize, hey, I still have 99 names there to go. So you don't have to be so attached to the outcome. And I feel like that's why people don't make these calls, because they get so attached to the outcome and so worried about how it's going to go and whether the person's going to say no. But realize it may not be for them, and that's completely okay, right? So then you would say, I realize it may not be for you, which is completely okay. So if you can't help me directly, you can help me indirectly by connecting me with someone who would benefit from this information. Even, for me, guys, the other day, I had that my friend Alexia, we got through the process with her. I had this kind of conversation with her. And then we went and I had an ABC with her, and she signed up with me on the ABC. I added her in the group chat and everything. And today I wake up from a text and she's saying, I thought about it. I don't think entrepreneurship is for me. That's fair. You know what? If somebody goes through all the information and they still decide it's not for them, that's cool with me. But you realize, like, it happens even to me, where people will say no, people will say yes and then say no, people will say yes and then do nothing. Like, it literally, that's why we call it the rule of thirds. It's a numbers game. The more contacts you can make, the better your odds are going to be, the faster your business is going to grow, because it's all about identifying those key partners, right? And it's only through going through 81 contacts, right, that you find those 3 key players. So don't be so like attached when somebody says no or backs out. But I did ask her for help after that. I asked her if she could have helped me identify someone who would really benefit from the information. She sent me 3 names. So now I have 3 contacts to reach out to, even though she said no. I think that's a pretty fair trade, So there's different ways people can help us. Maybe they're not going to end up being our business partners. Maybe they'll end up being customers. Maybe they'll end up leading us to someone who is a customer or a business partner, right? Continuing on. I can tell you by the end of this, you'll either want to get involved directly by partnering with me and building this community, or indirectly by leading me to someone. But at the very least, you're going to be introduced to the concept of active wellness and a line of Japanese wellness technologies that you will not want to be without. How does that sound? That sounds pretty cool. So what is this all about? Well, that's what the information process is for. So I can't tell you too much right now, but what I can tell you is that I'm really excited about it, and that I'm really excited that you're open to learning more about it. This is a business that I just recently got introduced to, and after I found out what they were all about, I just knew that I had to talk to you about it. Right? They're going to ask more questions, but you don't have to get into it on this call. You at this point may not be prepared to answer all their questions, and that's okay. But there is somebody who can. And that's why really the whole point of this call is to get the ABC scheduled. That's your only objective with this call, is to get the ABC scheduled. you do that, you have like a much better chance of them getting through this process and getting 100% informed. Because the last thing you want is somebody saying no before they get 100% informed. Then they're doing themselves a disservice and you a disservice and the business a disservice, right? So usually you just be like, how does that sound? I just want to get you informed. If they start asking more questions about like, what is this? What's this all about? You just tell them how excited you are about it. You tell them that you can't answer all their questions. You're pretty new to this, but you know somebody who can. And that's why I'd really love you to meet my partners. So on to the next part, scheduling the ABC. Okay, great. I'm going to send you a link to a few videos and documents to review. That's the Sovereign Life link. To give you an overview and provide some context on the company we're partnered with, the products, and the business model. Then I would like to introduce you to my partner. They can answer any questions you might have. And of course, if you decide to get involved, they'll be your partner too. So it's important that you meet them. You know what? You might even hype up your partner. If it's me who's going to be your A's, you can hype me up. One of the guys that I follow, he's a multimillionaire. His name's Alex Morden. He says, edification is your income. Edification is the way that you hype up the people that you work with or that are above you. So edify, edify, edify. When I was doing all these calls, I was edifying my dad like crazy. I would even say after they had agreed to like be on the call and everything and look at the business, I would say like, even if nothing comes of this, I have no doubt you're going to learn so much just from talking to my dad. Like, you're going to love him. I'm so excited for you to meet him. And I mean that genuinely. And, you know, whether it's me doing your ABCs, whether it's my dad doing your ABCs, whether it's somebody else doing your ABCs, I don't know who's going to be watching this training. Trust that person. Trust that they know what they're doing. Trust that they have the answers that this person needs. And trust that they're going to be able to inspire and motivate them. And that's why you decided to join their team, right? Because you trust them, because you saw something in them. So express to them like why you're excited for them to meet your partner. Okay, then I'd like to introduce you to my partner. They can answer any questions you might have. And of course, if you decide to get involved, they'll be your partner too. So it's important you meet them. What's your availability on? And then I usually say 2 days from the current day. So like, for example, today is a Wednesday. I would say, what's your availability this Friday? If they're not free Friday, you'd be like, okay, well, what's your availability over this weekend? And get something scheduled. It doesn't do, and this is in caps because it's so crucial, do not leave the call without scheduling an ABC. If it needs to be rescheduled because the partners are not available, that's fine. Just get something in the calendar. So crucial. I find that if you don't do this, there's way more of a chance that somebody's because you're gonna send them the link right after this. You're gonna send them the Sovereign Life link. If they just see the link and they don't have like a call scheduled after that, there's a much higher chance that they'll say no before having that ABC call. And the link in itself is not enough to give somebody the whole picture. It's just meant to provide context for that ABC call. So whenever somebody tries to do that, and like because I've been through this process enough times that I've experienced that happen to me, I will try to say it to them, you committed to going through a process of information, to getting 100% informed. And right now you're making a decision without all the information. So I'd really love you to reschedule. And if after the ABC call, you decided it's not for you, I'll completely respect that. All right. Usually someone will be like, okay, that's fair. I will have the call, right? And then they can ask all the questions that they might have to the A. And the A's job is to answer the questions, to tell their story, to talk a little bit more about products, to talk a little bit more about how the business actually works and what we're building right now. Because everyone that's on this team right now, we are in the process of sparking a fire. We're sparking a completely new movement within Niken. And I don't know if you guys have started to see the big vision, but I'm certainly seeing it. And I'm seeing how many lives we're going to impact through this movement, creating a different culture within Niken, really getting like a younger, fresher face, rebranding the company and showing the world like the value that we all see here. because I know I grew up in this home, this wellness home, and wellness, not just from like the physical level, but also like my mind was influenced by this company, you know, the abundance we've been able to have, the finances that we've had available to us. Wellness is the 5 pillars of health, right? It's all 5 areas. And if I can give that to somebody else, like that's a dream come true for me. And that's what we're doing. That's our movement. So, you know, we want to tell people about that in the ABC. We want to share that. Yes, Vanna, what's up?
I just want to address something that happens a lot, and so you can give your response to it.
Okay, for sure.
There's a point in it where you're trying to schedule an ABC, and you'll keep asking for a date, and they'll say, I actually can't figure that out. Can I message you this weekend and let you know for next week or something like that? And a lot of the times when they do that, they don't actually follow through with that.
Right.
However, you've tried multiple times to get a date on the call and they haven't given you an exact date. So how would you handle that?
I think part of the reason I haven't experienced that too much is because of the way I've adapted this approach. And I'm going to talk about that right after this. But I would say, let's just get something in the calendar just in case, because my dad's schedule tends to fill up really quickly. And I want to make sure that we get you guys on the phone together, or that we get this call booked.
That makes sense.
If we need to reschedule it, that's no problem, but let's just get something in the calendar. That's what I would say. And that's what I have said to people.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Can you say that?
Question, though. I would probably say to them, I would say something along the lines of, let's just get something booked. It's totally okay if you have to reschedule, but my dad's schedule tends, or if whoever you're talking about, my partner's schedule tends to fill up really quickly. So I want to make sure we at least have like a slot picked out. And again, if you have to reschedule, it's totally fine.
Okay, I like that.
Like I said, just get something in the calendar. That's literally the whole goal of this call. Now the follow-up text. This is a brief version. Hi, blank. I'm so excited to share this with you. I can't wait to reconnect on and the date that you scheduled the call. Watch this first. This video is the 1% video done by my dad. So it's an explanation of the cash flow quadrants. It tells people why, if they really want what they say they want in terms of, you know, living abundantly, living freely, living life on their own terms, they can't just trade time for money. They have to build an asset, right? And so it gives people some context about like why this business is such a great means to build an asset that's going to provide them with the freedom that they're looking for. Then continue to this page. The first 4 links are critical, and that's our Sovereign Life link. That link has a little bit about products, a little bit about Nikan, a little bit about the business model. Continue with any others that catch your eye. They are all relevant to understanding the overall picture. Again, you can adapt this any way you want. So for example, the way that I usually go about writing this text, I'm going to read you guys an example. Actually, you know what? Let me go through my kind of approach first, and then I'll read you guys the sample text that I would usually send. So this is just basic contact and invite. Anyone can take the script and run with it. But I'm going to be making some modifications, because this is really if you're doing a direct approach, you know, this is if you know the person that you're talking to, you know them well enough to know what their motive is and what your motive for working with them is. But see, that's not always the case. Sometimes there's unplanned contacts or indirect contacts. So let me talk to you guys a little bit kind of about the way that I've been going about this business. And it's not the same way that everyone might do it, but it's been working for me. So I think it's worth sharing. Most of the contacts that I have made have been through social media. And what I've done is I've either posted like a series of stories, a series of polls, or put out a post that invites somebody to message me if they want to learn more. And I'm not going to be like, hey guys, business opportunity, come get it. Like it's things where I talk about, you know, my personal reason why. What I've talked about, I've said like, hey, do you know what the cash flow quadrants are? You know, and kind of done some polls like that. Or I've said like, I've talked about how grateful I am to have grown up in the environment that I did, and the life that I've experienced through my dad. And if you're interested in learning more, or there was one post that I did that was really great. And I talked about how 83% of women making $100,000 in the US, $100,000 or more in the US, do it through a network marketing business. So I posted about that. And I was like, do you want to learn more about that? Like, message me if you want to learn more about this, basically. And a lot of women reached out because they were like, that's super interesting. I never knew that, you know, there were women making money with this business, and why this business, you know, why this model. So there's different ways you can go about it. That's kind of to your creative freedom. Or it might be you have someone on your contact list that you're like, okay, I really want to work with this person, but I don't really know them that well. I kind of know them. I have like an idea of them. I met them through a friend one time at that place, but I like follow them on social media. I think they would be really great for it. I don't really know like what their motive is though, or what my motive is. So it could be any of those situations. Basically someone that you're like, okay, don't know this person too well, but like I want to feel them out. In this case, so, you know, what I've been doing, you know, I have people kind of reach out to me if they're interested to learn more. And that's the way, actually, the way me and Alessia got connected, I'm just thinking now, the way me and Alessia got connected was because I had this conversation with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was one of the people who reached out to me because I had posted something about like financial freedom, and he's super into that. So we had a phone conversation. Through the conversation, though, the questions I was asking him, I assessed on my own that I actually didn't feel that he was right for the business, or that the business was right for him. He seemed like he was really clear about what he loved, which was like video games, something along those lines. He was like, that's for sure what I want to do. If money was no option, I would for sure do that. So I was like, okay, cool. I don't think this is for you. I didn't say that to him, but I asked him for his help on the phone call. I said, do you know anyone who, you know, is motivated by personal freedom, who cares about wellness, and who really wants to make an impact? He said, that sounds exactly like my girlfriend. And I was like, that would be great. Like, I would love to get in contact with her. Like, would you be able to set that up? He was like, sure. Me and Alessia got in touch that way. Isabel was somebody that I knew through school. You know, me and her know each other pretty well. We hung out one day and I was like, you know what? Isabel's so smart. Like, she would do great at this, you know, and it could be a really great opportunity for her to even like expand as a person. I know that you really love to grow and challenge yourself and all that. So I actually just reached out to her and I was like, hey, Isabel, let's get on a call. But even still, I didn't know like deeper beneath the surface, like what Isabel really cares about. So I had to ask her some questions first. Same goes with Sam. Kat kind of had an unconventional introduction to Nikan. She was introduced through RJ, who really just like brought her to the house and was like, we're going to learn about this water, you know? So there's different ways, there's different approaches, but the indirect approach has really been working well for me, where either somebody reaches out to me, lets me know they're interested, or maybe I'm talking to someone that I don't know all too well. In that case, I would ask, hey, can I set up a phone call with you to learn a little bit more about you, where you're at in life? What are your dreams? What are your goals, your ambitions, your passions? It will only take about 20 minutes. Between this time and this time, what works better? And that's a really key phrase if you're trying to get something booked with someone. Ask them, between this day at this time and this day at this time, what works better for you? Because then it's a yes or a yes, you know? There's two options you put on the table. They're going to put one of the, instead of just saying, what's your schedule like this week? Like, yeah, you can do that. It's slower. Sometimes it doesn't always result in getting something booked. This is something you can even do while you're on the phone, doing what we just talked about. You can say, between this time and this time, what works better for you? You'll have a better chance of getting something actually booked when you phrase it that way. So maybe we get on the phone, right? Hey, like, how are you doing? How's life? What are you up to right now? How's your day going? Oh, you're at work. Oh, cool. What do you do for work? Oh, okay, nice. What do you like about it? Like, why did you get into that? You want to be curious. That's really the key like thing with with this approach, is like, be genuinely curious in this person. Like, you're trying to learn about them and get beneath the surface. So like, they'll tell you what they did for work. Ask them why they did that. What led to that? Why did they choose to study that subject in school? What's their favorite part about what they do? What's their least favorite part about what they do? And you're listening, trying to identify which of those 5 pillars really matters most to them. You know, like if they tell you, I had one girl tell me at her work, you know, if they reply to a post of yours, you could even say, what about my post got your attention? Like, what intrigued you the most? You know, oh, I really loved how you talked about, you know, how women were, you know, making money doing this business, because right now in the job that I'm working as a woman, like, I really don't feel respected. I don't feel like my voice is heard. It's a male dominant environment. And I would love to like work with a community of like-minded women. That was an actual conversation that I had with somebody. You know, maybe they'll talk, a lot of people that I talk to have some sort of interest in health and wellness, you know, and so that could be a big factor too, that you ask them, like, why did you get into that? You know, what was the, what do you like most about what you're doing now? And they'll tell you. And then, you know, I like to ask people, there's specific questions I like to ask people. I like to ask them like, so what is like your goal in life? Like, what's like one of the big goals that you have, or big dreams that you have in your life? I might ask someone, if money was no object, what would you do with your life? How would you spend your time? I might ask them, you know, I might say to someone, everyone always asks us what we want to do for a living, but nobody ever asks us what kind of lifestyle we want to have. And how are we supposed to know what we want to do for a living if we don't know what lifestyle we want, right? Because if you know what lifestyle you want, you can work backwards and figure out what career is going to give you that lifestyle. But if you just choose a career blindly, then you're not going to know if it's actually going to give you the lifestyle you're after. So what kind of lifestyle do you want? And they'll always be like, oh, I want to be financially free. I want to travel, like all the things that we all want. They'll always say, right? It's like, I know what they're going to say. Sometimes there's specific things that they're after, but usually it's like, I want to be able to like provide for my family and like take care of the people around me. I want to be able to start this nonprofit that I dream about. Whatever it is, what kind of lifestyle do you want, right? Like, oh yeah, I want to be able to, I want this house in this place, right? And then I ask them, I'm like, so why do you think that only 1% of people have what the other 99% dream about? I don't know. Maybe because they don't know how. I'm like, yeah, you're exactly right. They don't know how. And that, you know, we're not taught that. Like, we're not taught that in school. We're not taught how to be entrepreneurs. We're taught how to be employees. We're taught how to trade time for money. So it's a completely different skill set when you're learning how to be an entrepreneur. Have you ever heard of the cash flow quadrants by Robert Kiyosaki? This is something I really like to talk to people about because it gives them a brief education. A brief education. You guys should study that video, right? And I explained to them, you know, on one side of the quadrant, you have the employees, the self-employed, right? This is basically someone who's given themselves a job. And then on the other side, you know, you have the business owners, the people who have a business with 500 or more employees, basically a business that they don't have to be there working in order to make money. It's an asset that's making money independent of them. And then there's the investors, right? And on the first side of the quadrant, we have 95% of the population making 5% of the wealth. Then on the second side of the quadrant, we have 5% of the population making 95% of the wealth, right? So really, if anyone wants to, if you want the lifestyle you say you want, you have to cross that barrier. You have to go from one side of the quadrant to the other side. Now, I recently got involved with this business that actually teaches you how to do that. And it's teaching me now how to build an asset that's going to make money independent of me. And yes, right now I'm having to put a little bit of time, context, and energy into it. But eventually I'm going to have a business that runs independent of me. And that's really what I'm after, because I want the same lifestyle as you. Now, from what you told me, right, because in your previous conversation, you're going to be, you're going to be asking them about their work. You're going to be asking about what they care about, what's their dreams. If they, if money was no object, what would they do with their life? That's a great question to find out which of these 5 pillars really stand out most to them. And you're listening, you're trying to identify their motive, their reason why. Because I want the same lifestyle as you, I think this might be something, and because of what you've told me, about how you really love helping people, how you really want to make a difference in the world, and how much you care about like wellness and living in harmony with nature, I think this is an opportunity that you might really appreciate learning more about. How does that sound? I'd love to bring you through a process of information so you can get 100% informed, and then figure out where it leads, where it fits for you. And it might not be for you, and that's totally fine. And now you see, guys, now I'm going back to the script we just went through. It might not be for you, and that's totally fine. But, you might be able to help me indirectly by connecting me with someone who would really benefit from learning about it. And I would totally appreciate your help with that. How does that sound? Cool. Awesome. And it may not be anything, but at the very least, you're going to learn about some really awesome Japanese wellness products that I've personally experienced, right? For those of you who have had a personal experience, hopefully you have, and that I really love. Okay, great. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so the first step in the process is I'm going to send you a few videos and documents to look over. That's going to give you some brief context about the business, about some of the products, and about the company that I've partnered with. And then what I'd love to do is get you on a phone call with one of my partners, because they're way more experienced than me. They can answer any questions you have. And really, if you're going to partner with us, they're going to be your partner too. And I think it's really important that you know them. So what's your availability between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. on Friday? There you go. It's really like, this ends up being about a 20-minute conversation, I find, where I'm getting to know this person. I'm asking them about their daily life. And then I'm starting to dig a little deeper and find out why they do the things they do, why they chose to get into that particular field, what they love most about it, what they don't love about it, where they want to be in their life, what is their secret dream. Everyone has a secret dream. And guys, when you really take interest in someone, they appreciate that. That's what everyone wants. And this is something, I think the reason I just naturally started doing this with business is because this was something I was doing way before I started Nikan. This is something that I've been doing for years now with the Mind Palace account, where I've just opened myself up to people and said like, hey, you want to talk about anything and everything? Like, let's do it. I'm down. Even if I don't know you, like, I'm here to help you. And people can sense that in me. And I think that's why they feel comfortable talking to me and even hearing what I have to say. The reason why when I offer like a phone call or an opportunity to someone and they like take it seriously is because they know that I'm a person who really wants to help people. That's something that people can feel in your energy, and not everyone has to be putting themselves out on social media for you to know that. It's in the way that you talk to them. It's in the way that you take interest in their own personal life and their own personal well-being. That's what shows people that you really care about them. So that's kind of the training that I wanted to go through with you with. And then what I would do is I would send them the text. Now, I've kind of also adapted my own version of this text to make it a little bit more personalized, but I'll show you like an example. I'll read you an example now. So this is something I sent to our friend Tiffany, who is on our team now, right? I said, hey, Tiffany, it's Sophia. It was so great reconnecting with you after all these years, because it had been years since we'd last spoken, right? And, she's a dancer. She was talking to me about dance and how much she loves dance, how much she loves just like connecting with people, being in community, and how she really wants to travel. So I said, I absolutely loved hearing about your passion for movement, connection, and traveling. I'm really excited for you to learn more about how this opportunity can get you closer to all of those things. Right? So acknowledging something that they said during this call or this conversation, that shows them that you were listening, that you really cared about what they had to say, and that you think, knowing all this about them, that they would really be aligned with this opportunity. Watch this first, right? And I said, it's an explanation of the cash flow quadrants I was telling you about, done by my dad, who you will be meeting this Tuesday, right? So cash flow quadrants is something I talked to her about, because I like explaining that to someone. I like giving people that like brief education, because if they don't have that, then they don't even know, why would I even want to start a business? Why would I need to build an asset? Because, hey, if you want the lifestyle you say you want, you got to join the 5% of people on that side of the quadrant who actually have it. It's a different way of thinking. It's shifting your mindset about money. I tell people, this guy was written by Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The reason that he wrote this book was because his dad was poor. If you guys haven't read it, by the way, great book. His dad was poor, and he had a friend's dad who was rich. And he started to notice the different ways that they thought about money and how they handled their money, how they made money, right? So there is a secret to this. There is a game to be played, and you just got to learn how to play the game. You got to choose the right vehicle. And I tell people there's many vehicles you can take in order to have financial wealth. There's many vehicles. You can do, I don't know, Amazon drop shipping. I know people, that's one form of like passive income. You can do like foreign exchange. You can do like trading and investing, right? Like crypto stuff. That's another thing people do. Again, that requires you to have an education though on how to do that. So there is an investment there that has to be made in time and energy. Probably money too, if you want to get a good education, right? And then this business model, network marketing, this is another way of doing it. And if you follow like millionaires and billionaires like I do, they talk about network marketing and why it's such a great model. Now, I wouldn't recommend saying the words network marketing on the phone with somebody, because they might have preconceived notions about it, right? But if it does come up, if they do say to you, hey, is this one of those pyramid scheme things? Is this one of those network marketing things? You say, yeah, it is network marketing. Have you had an experience with network marketing before? Oh, no, I haven't. But, my family, my mom, she got scammed a few years ago by this one like company. Be like, oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Could you tell me a little bit more about that experience? Oh, I don't really know like much about it. I just know like she like bought these products, and they said that they were going to help her do all these things, and they didn't. Oh, well, I mean, if you're, I'm sorry that it left bad taste in your mouth. And I know for a fact that all network marketing companies are not created equally. But, and I even had my own predispositions about it too, honestly, before I learned about this one. And if you're open to it, I'd really love the opportunity to show you why this is completely different than any other experience you might have had. What do you think they're going to say to that? It's being transparent, being open about the fact that yes, not every network marketing company is equal, but always, when somebody brings that to your attention, if it happens during this first conversation, which honestly, I don't find it does. I don't think I've ever really experienced this before, but it might. You ask them, what was your experience like? Because until you know what their experience was, they may not even have had one. They may have just heard things. And until you know what their experience was like, how are you going to show them why this one is different? Right? You always ask a question. Your response to that is a question. And it's, did you have an experience with it? What was it like? Let me show you why this is completely different than that. Okay. So yeah, and then I said, continue to this page. The first 4 links are critical. Continue with any, the Sovereign Life link. Continue with any others that catch your eye. And if you have any questions, write them down so we can get them answered. Looking forward to our next conversation. Right. And then the next conversation is the ABC, where they're going to learn a lot more about, Nikan and get all their questions answered. So I know we've gone over time. It's 9:11, but I think that there was a lot of really valuable information shared in there. Sven and Elena, you guys have been the ones who have made the most calls so far out of everyone here, most contacts. Is there any other objections that you guys have faced that I haven't really covered?
Okay. People actually, yeah, it's the I don't think I have time for this. I was gonna say that.
When do people usually say that to you?
Either right away they bring it up, or they say it over text when they cancel the ABC.
When they cancel the ABC?
After looking at the link. It's either right on the spot as you speak, or after they look at the link.
You might say to that, like, would you agree that we make time for the things that are important to us?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if in order for you to assess how important this really is, you have to have all the information. Another thing, I will read to you guys what I wrote to somebody who tried to hit me with that same thing. They didn't even really say I didn't have time. They just kind of were like, here. We had a great conversation. Like, it was amazing. I sent her the info. She, I don't even think she like looked through the info. And then we had the ABC booked. And on the day of the ABC, she goes, "Hey, love, I don't think I'm going to be able to meet today. There's been a lot going on recently, and I'm feeling like I need to focus my additional time and efforts into my business. I hope to connect more about this in the future. Thank you." Now, her business isn't like it's just, she does like coaching here and there. So I said, hey, with most people, I would let something like this go without a second thought. And this is true. Most people, I would let it go without a second thought. But because we had such a great conversation, like the why conversation went so well, and I saw how well it aligned with everything she wants, I wasn't prepared to just let it go that easy. So I said, but because I see what a great fit this would be for you and how it can help you achieve all the things we spoke about in our last call, your nonprofit, time and money freedom, alignment with holistic wellness, etc. See, I'm reminding her of her why. That's what you want to do in these situations. You want to remind them of their why. I'm going to ask you to reconsider about today's meeting. I've only asked you to learn, and in order for you to make a proper evaluation of what this is, you need to be open to all the information. After you take time to speak with my dad, I will respect any choice that you make.
Can you repeat just the last part? So you tied it back to her, all the things you spoke about her.
Right. I'm going to ask you to reconsider about today's meeting. I've only asked you to learn. And in order for you to make a proper evaluation of what this is, you need to be open to all the information. After you take time to speak with my dad, I will respect any choice that you made. Now, another example though, so Sophia on our team, she messaged me yesterday, and she had a similar situation where she had sent somebody this information. And I want you guys to know it will happen, but like I've said, we have a lot of members on our team now, and I've been pretty successful at having people go through the whole information process. So I find that like I don't usually run into this problem, maybe as much as some other people do, but maybe that's because they didn't dig deep enough and really figure out the why. So this person was like, I went through everything, and to be honest, I'm already so busy with my own business, barely have time for anything else. I have a bunch of projects I'm working on. I hope you understand. Thank you so much for thinking about me. And I asked Sophia, I said, what was her why? And what's her current biz? Is it a self-employed situation, or is she building an asset? Because then I could know, okay, then, if she's not building an asset and she wants what she says she wants, she's going to have to start building an asset, right? So there's some disconnect happening for her. So Sophia goes, e-commerce. And yes, she's self-employed. Her why is helping others. I said, okay, did you have any talk with her about the lifestyle she wants? See, before I even tried to reply to this message, I asked her more about what is the conversation like that you guys had. Sophia admitted, I didn't get into the emotional as much as I should have. I said, that's okay. We live and we learn. Now you know better for next time. So this is the reply I said to that. I told her to just let it go, but this is what I would say. Hey, I definitely understand where you're coming from. I know you're super busy and I appreciate any time you can give me. As you might recall, when I initially reached out to you, I asked you for your help. And after what you told me about how passionate you are about helping others, right? That's what Sophia told me her why was, helping others. There are still a few ways that you can help me indirectly. Could we get on a 20-minute phone call sometime tomorrow to chat about it? That's what I told her to say, right? And on that call, she could ask about any products she may have learned about that caught her attention, right? Because she said she went through all the information. So assuming that's true, and she's not just bullshitting, she would know about some products. Maybe some of them caught her attention. Maybe she'll be a customer. If she knows anyone who would value these products, and out of everyone she knows, who is one person who's health conscious, entrepreneurial, and motivated to make a difference. So that's the instructions that I left Sophia with. And that's how I would handle that situation. So, but that first conversation, that why is so important because you can always bring people back to that why. And if you really have a deep conversation with someone, one that matters, and you tell them that you think you found something that really aligns with who they are and what they want, they're going to want to learn more about it. You know, they're going to be into it. They're going to want to like take this through to the end and really decide for themselves. Do anyone else on the call, Alessia, Isabel, Sam, do you guys have any questions, any like objectives that you're thinking of in your mind that you would want to know how to handle?
Like for me, it's kind of just like, where do I start? Like, I have no idea like where to start. Like,
well, you start with your contact, your contact list, right?
Yeah.
I told you to do that.
Yeah, I'm still building that. I'm still trying to think of my 100. I'm like, I only got like 30 down, and I'm like struggling already.
Is it because you're pre-ranking them as you're going through it?
No, I'm just like thinking of people that would actually like listen and like take the time to actually like, you know.
That then you're pre-qualifying them.
Okay, sure.
Your goal is just to write down names of people who know who you are.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
And then like you just reach out to them like randomly?
No. And to be honest, guys, I haven't actually even gone back to my contact list since completing it because I haven't had to, because I've been able to create contacts through the approach that I've been using, this indirect approach of really like creating opportunities online for people to tell me that they're interested. Or even like, you know, maybe I'll be talking to a friend and they'll be telling me stuff and I'll be like, yo, this person should be involved with Nika. Like they're telling me everything that like I would want a potential business partner to tell me. And then maybe in that conversation, I'll like I'll bring it up and I'll be like, you know, you're someone who I love, you know, we've known each other for a long time. I trust you. I respect you. I know that you really care about helping others and that you want a certain lifestyle. You should really take a look at the business that I'm doing and the team that we're building, because I think it would really align with who you are. And if it's not for you, that's totally cool. But like, there's no harm in learning, you know? So you start. So like I said, I haven't really had to like go back to my contact list, but it did do something for me psychologically that actually gave me the courage to start talking to people. But you would rank them, right? You rank them, which I don't know if I talked to you about how to do that yet, but you rank them. So you start to identify who are the people you'd actually want to approach as a business partner. And then you text them and say, hey, there's something I'd really love to talk to you about, something really important that I just discovered. Do you have a few minutes for a phone call? Or if it's someone you haven't talked to in a while, you could be like, hey, I know we haven't spoken in a while, but I came across something really interested in and you came to mind. I thought you would really appreciate learning about it. Would you be down to catch up over like a 20-minute phone call or over a coffee? You know, like you're a human being. They're a human being. You have to remember that. Does that answer the question?
Yes.
Okay. How about you, Sam?
I mean, I haven't spoken to too many people, but for the people that I have spoken to, like just based off of what I posted on my socials, the main thing that I'm worried about, and again, like we already talked about this today, but it could be just like a mental barrier of mine. But some of the people I talk to, like, seem to have like a preconceived notion about what I was trying to say in terms of what network marketing is. Like when they were like, oh, what is it exactly that you're doing? You're not just selling water. And I kind of like explained it a little bit. They kind of like backed off, or they're like, oh, it's like a network marketing company. Like two people said, oh, it's a network marketing company. And I was like, yeah, blah, 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 whatever. I said what I need to say. Maybe it wasn't the right things, but
yeah, you should have definitely reached out to me. I would have told you exactly what to say to that.
Most of them were the people that I told you about, but then I kind of just continued, and then they eventually kind of backed off when it got to that point. So when I do have those more in-depth conversations to figure out the why, I feel like just for myself, I want to be better prepared for those types of questions, or like, I don't know, misconceptions from their side.
Right. And like I said, the why conversation, even in and of itself, like the majority of that conversation isn't even about business at all. It's about them.
Yeah.
It's only when you invite them to learn about this, to partner with you, you invite them to partner with you, and you can use like that second half of the script, right? To you could say it that way. That's when they might have questions about business and with the structure of it and all that. And you just tell them, like, that's what this process is for. This was just meant to be, you know, a quick call for us to catch up, for me to tell you what I'm doing and invite you to learn. But as you go through the information, you're going to be able to make a decision for yourself. Right. So how we're going to start, and like, you don't even have, like, you can assume like control of this situation, you know, you're not at like someone else's mercy. So what we're going to do, right, if they start asking you questions, it's like, I'm so happy you're excited and you want to know more. And like I said, this is a process of information that's going to get you 100% informed. So what we're going to do, I'm going to send you a link. It's going to have videos and a few documents to go over. It's going to give you some brief context. And then I'd really love for you to meet my partner, because they'll be able to answer any questions you have better than I will. And, you know, if you decide to partner with us, they'll be your partner too. So but if they say anything about network marketing, Sam, I already addressed this, but you want to always reply with a question.
Yeah, like what their experience has been.
Yeah, yes, it is. Right. And you also have to like own that. Like, yeah, we're in a network marketing business. It's a great business to be in. They've written books about this. Robert Kiyosaki, the guy who did Rich Dad Poor Dad, wrote a book called The Business for the People Who Love Helping People. And it's all about network marketing and why it's a great way to achieve financial freedom. So this is a great business to be in. Of course, not all network marketing companies are created equally. But with Megan, you know that, right, you know, you got a 46-year history. Nothing's going to last 46 years unless it's legit, you know? So, but definitely you got to figure out like, what has their experience been like? And it's like, I'm so sorry to hear that. Totally acknowledge they're not all created equal. Let me show you why this one's completely different. Now they're intrigued. Now they're like, oh, you got something different for me now. Oh, how is this different? You know, now they want to know more. So you could actually flip it around on, you know, flip that kind of situation around and turn it into something positive.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I just need to do it a couple times to be a bit comfortable with it, you know?
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. It's all about just doing it. And I'm telling you, once that first person like gets through the process and signs up with you, you're just gonna like feel so much more confident.
And be like, oh, okay, this works. Yeah. 100%.
Totally. And yeah, and you can do it. Not just that it works, because we know it works, but that you can do it. And you can.
Yeah.
You got to have confidence in what you're talking about. That's the most important thing.
Agreed.
All right, guys, 9:25. Definitely want to wrap up. Does anyone have any more last minute questions? All right, awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I hope you got something valuable from this study, this training, because this is your business. And if you can teach someone else how to do this, and if you can teach someone how to teach someone how to do this, that's how you get freedom. All right, guys, have a great night, and I will talk to you all again soon. And
Bye.
bye.